Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back. Today we are outside, as you can see. I'm at one of the local trails where I live. It's just a few minutes from my house. Pretty much in less than 30 minutes, I can be packed up, have my gear, and be at the trailhead, which is where I'm at now. Let's take a walk back over here, and you'll be able to see it behind me. There's quite a few cars here. I didn't expect that. But we're here. This is PALMER State Park. As you can see in the back there, there's the trailhead there. This trail lists on all trails as having 3 trails, but it's really just one. It's one big loop, but there are 2 cutoff sections to shorten the big loop. So today I'm going to take the whole big loop, 3.3 miles. I've done this many times before. Brought the dogs here. You know, this is, like I said, this is one of my local trails. I am not going to run the camera the whole time. I don't know if this camera has stabilization technology. It's an older GoPro Hero 4. So I'm going to run the camera a little bit in there just to, give you an idea what the trail looks like. It's been raining here for several days, so I'm expecting it to be pretty muddy. If you look around, you can see there's water puddles in the parking lot. So it should be interesting, and hopefully it's not too muddy, and we should have a pretty uneventful 3-mile hike. So let me get myself geared up and we'll hit the trail. All right, folks, here we go. This is the Hornbeam Ironworks and Flint Mill Trail Loop at PALMER State Park. It is 3.3 miles long. Says it should take me about an hour and 16 minutes. We'll see. Here is a picture of the trail. There we go. It's like a big loop. Here's where we are. So let's hit the trail, get started, and I'll see you at the end. We'll run the camera a little bit just to get some footage. I did not bring my walking stick, but I probably won't need it for this trail. I've been on this trail many times. It is a little after 2 p.m., slightly overcast, entering the trailhead and down into the state park. Beautiful day out, beautiful day out. I'm not carrying a lot of weight right now in the pack. I have just a few light pieces of gear. This is my first hike of the season, so I just wanted to take it light. It's kind of like a shakedown. Really, it's a shakedown for me and not so much for my gear. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see you at the end. All right, folks, here we go. This is a fairly easy section of the trail. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of footage in here just so you can see what a lovely day it is. Trail's a little bit muddy, but I haven't had any issues yet with traction. I am wearing my Solomon hiking boots, which have a decent tread on them. Very comfortable to wear. I would suggest, investing in some decent footwear if you're going to, do this kind of activity regularly. Footwear makes all the difference in the world when it comes to fatigue and being able to make the whole trail. And really, I don't want any part of this to suck. So the last thing I want is for my feet to hurt when I get done. So investing in some good footwear is always good. This being a fairly smooth section. Now, I did see some cars in the parking lot, so there are going to be some other hikers out here. I haven't seen any yet. There was one car leaving as I was getting ready to hit the trailhead, but so far I have not seen. But it's a big trail. They could be 2 miles ahead of me. So this trail is 3.3 miles. Doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like a very long trail, but it is. It's a really nice trail. I'll get some more footage, but for now you kind of get the idea. It's just a nice, lovely, quiet patch of woods. all around in every direction. Can't hear any cars or car horns or, you know, doors slamming or anything like that. It's pretty quiet back here. It's one of my favorite trails. It is, like I said, local, so I have you know, hiked this many times. So stay with me, and we'll get some more footage here in a minute. All right, folks, we are just under a mile in. I'm at the last, just past the last connection point before we continue to switch back down to the river, and that'll be the lowest point. And then we follow the river for a while, and then come back up and climb our way back out to where we started. So we're about a mile in, got a little ways to go. Good pace so far, 2.7 mile an hour, but it has been downhill. I'm not, you know, complaining about that. We'll see how my pace does coming uphill. I'm already a little winded, but it's to be expected. I'll find my groove, I'll get my trail legs, and we'll finish this out. We'll see you in a bit. All right, folks, welcome back. A little piece of trail here. Looks like some trail workers put this together. See if I can get you an angle on it. There we go. Avoids a washout, I guess. Seen a couple of them. It's nice to know that people are maintaining the trail. Trail's a little wet, nothing major. Of course, the rocks can be slippery. You got to be careful on those. But as far as mud-wise goes, it's not too bad. I haven't slipped, you know, or had any close calls or anything. Just as you see it, quiet as can be, and we're pressing on. Right now, I think I'm a little over a mile in. Let's take a look and see where we're at here. Yep, I'm 1.4 miles in, so about halfway. Still running about 2.7 mile an hour. I have not gotten to the bottom yet where the river is. It's ahead of me. I believe it's down in this corner here. If you can see, here's where I'm at. And I believe the river is down in here. There's the river right there. And once I get down to this sharp bend and run parallel with the river, I'll pretty much be at the lowest point of the trail. So, looking good so far. I'm enjoying it. The weather's beautiful. I did pass one hiker with their dog. It's a very popular spot for people to bring their dogs. I know I've brought mine. It's a good trail for that. It's not too far away from civilization, but it's you know, far enough away to where you don't have to worry about you know, anybody bothering you or, you know, giving you a hard time about having your dog with you. So I'll give you a little bit of trail coverage here. Not sure how well you can see it. Not sure of this camera angle yet. Maybe that's a little bit better. We're still working our way down in elevation on the switchbacks. Switched back and forth maybe 4 times, you know, coming down. I don't know if you can get a perspective, but there is a creek down in there, pretty good ways, maybe about 100 yards down in there. There's a little bit of a creek. Let me see if I can arrange this to where you can see it down in there. There's a creek down in there, you know, where you see that log laying on them rocks way down there about 100 yards. There's a creek down in there that flows into another creek, a bigger creek. So that's where we're headed, and looking good so far. I've been digging it. I haven't had to use any of my gear yet, just get water, but I didn't really bring a lot of gear with me. I brought water and the camera stuff, just my normal EDC. I have my flashlight, my knife. I do have my sidearm with me. Not that I feel it would be necessary on this trail. We're pretty out into the county. I've never had any incidences on this trail or had any suspicions, but you know, when you're talking your everyday carry items, you really want to be in the habit of carrying them every day, just merely because if you get into a situation where, excuse me, you have to carry it, it's not going to be foreign to you. So I do try to carry my everyday carry items every day. and that includes my sidearm. So I do have my concealed carry permit with me. I really don't know if it's legal in a state park or not. I'm going to have to look that up, but before I do this again, I will look it up just to be sure. But I'm fairly certain, or at least I'm almost certain, that as long as you have a permit, that you're okay. But I will look into it. So for now, enjoy the trail, and we'll get back to you once I get further along. Welcome back, folks. Not sure how much footage I have, but this is a pretty nice looking section of trail. I'm going to take you with me. I think you'll enjoy this. Let me see if I can arrange this angle a little better for you so you can actually see the trail. And maybe if you're in a city, or you have mobility issues and you can't get out on the trail, maybe this little segment, as you can see, winds all the way down along this ridge as we work our way down towards the river. So it's a pretty nice looking piece of trail, somewhat downhill, ups and downs, but for the most part we're still going downhill since we left the truck, which means once we get to the bottom, it's going to be a climb all the way back up. So I'm not sure how much camera footage that I will roll for that. You may not be able to hear anything but my heavy breathing. So we'll see. But I'll shut up now and just let you enjoy a little bit of trail footage for a minute or two. And there's the river. I'm not sure if you can see it through there. It's pretty muddy. Like I said, it's been raining, and water's pretty high up on the bank. That is Deer Creek. Normally you can see the bottom. You can see a lot of rocks and boulders in the creek itself. I've kayaked that creek. I've kayaked that section of that creek several times. It's a boatload of fun, literally. But normally it's not that high, not that deep. And I'm not sure about this section, whether it flows that speed or not. But I can actually see the bubbles and how fast the current. Normally Deer Creek is fairly slow flowing. There are a few spots like up ahead of us. I can hear some rippling in it, which is one of the little bit faster spots. But normally it's what you see here. It's pretty slow. It's great to kayak, run a tube, run a canoe. A lot of people do that around here. It's a pretty popular spot. They have multiple kayak and canoe launch sites along the river that you can access from, various different roads. So I'll keep you with me till we get down closer to the water. Yeah, that water's real high. I did not expect that. But I guess with seeing on the news the floods in Western Maryland, which I am familiar with. I did spend some time living, out in Western Maryland. And there are some spots out there that are prone to flooding, big time. Yeah, you can see, there's a rock there where the water's flowing over. Normally there's lots of those. And when you're kayaking, you got to kind of steer around them. So it's flowing pretty good right now. This would be great kayaking. Really, as high as it is, because there is a fair amount of spots in Deer Creek where you end up hitting the bottom. You got to get out and drag it. I forget what they call that, but I call it sucky. But for the most part, you can stay in and get all the way down the river. But like I said, there are a few spots, where you end up hitting the bottom. You got to get out and drag it. but this here looks pretty high. I don't know if I'll get to kayak this within the next couple of days, because in a week or so that'll be, you know, back down to normal. So, all right, I'm going to pause it here, and I'm going to grab a quick drink, and then we'll continue on, and I'll get you going here a little bit in a few more minutes. All right, check it out. I forgot this was back here. I know I've passed this before, but it is an old foundation. It's a retaining wall, all made of stone, probably hand set. It's pretty high, about 30 feet maybe. Probably connected with something across the way at some point, but it has a well in it that's probably filled up with a fair amount of shit. I see a lot of trash, tree stumps. Who knows what's down there? But it's probably about 12 feet deep from what I can see. I'm sure it was deeper originally, but it's probably got, you know, decades of you know, debris piled up in it, sticks and leaves and trash and whatnot. But this is pretty cool. I forgot this was back here. I remember checking this out once before, and then I just walked up on it. So it's pretty neat. I thought maybe you'd like to check it out. All right, folks, one final segment before I get back to the truck. I'm about a mile away. I'm 2.3 miles in. Been climbing uphill for a while, a little bit winded. It's to be expected. Legs feel okay, so I'm pretty happy about that. I don't think I'm going to have any issues, cramps or anything like that. Just as I'm on the trail now, I'm, you know, breathing and gasping for air, but I don't know what the temperature is. I can actually look at it and see. I believe I have temperature on this thing. 83 degrees is what my watch is saying. Humidity is probably about 80 or 90%. You know, like I said, it's been raining for a couple of days. Everything's wet. The sun's out now, so it's causing a lot of steam, a lot of humidity. So the air's pretty thick right now. Good thing I'm not in the direct sunlight here in the woods. You know, it's pretty shady here where I'm at. As you can see, there's a pretty good canopy even now this early in the spring. So, you know, it's pretty good so far. I didn't expect anything less. We'll see how I feel when I get finished on this climb. It's pretty much all switchbacks up for, I think the app's at 147 feet in elevation. So I got a ways to go up, just under 150 feet, which doesn't seem like that much until you're, you know, hiking it. But again, first one of the season. You know, as we get into the season, you know, I get more miles on these shoes. You know, these little short 3-milers, they won't wind me as much as this one is here. But again, I expected it. Actually, I expected it to be a little worse. You know, I expected my legs to be, you know, cramped and achy by now, but nothing so far. So maybe there's some hope for us old Gen Xers yet. So I'll give you a little bit of trail time, and then we'll pause the video, and I will see you when I get back to the truck. So for now, enjoy. See if I can get you on the right angle. There you go. Bird alerting everybody to the presence of a human in the woods. That's what they do. All right, one more before I get back to the truck. I just wanted to stop for a minute and pause. Just listen. Listen how peaceful that is. There's no way anybody's going to tell me that going to a gym and, you know, hearing the sounds of Planet Fitness or any of the other gyms is more pleasant than that. The scenery, the sounds. I mean, obviously you can't smell the woods, but you know, the smell, nothing beats it for me. This to me is the ultimate outdoor experience. You know, just being outside, enjoying nature and all it has to offer. Hiking, you know, whether I'm backpacking or camping or hunting, fishing, just this right here. It's a beautiful thing. All right, we're almost back to the truck. Just wanted to stop here real quick. This is a bit of a clearing, as you can see, and the sun is shining. I'm not sure what the temperature is here, but the temperature where I was when I checked it in the woods in the shade was 83. I could definitely feel a temperature increase out here in the clearing where the sun's shining directly. Maybe 90. If I had to guess. I don't know, it's pretty warm. The sun is definitely strong right now, but it feels good, and we're almost back, and I thought I'd just give you a little glimpse of this little clearing. I'm not sure why it's here, or, you know, I've been through it before. I see some planted trees, you know, maybe somebody tried to reforest this or something, I'm not sure, but it's a clearing, and I know it's not far from the trailhead. If my memory serves correctly, I haven't hiked this trail in about 2 years, so I'm just going off memory. A lot of it was familiar, but you know, there was a lot of it that I forgot about that. You know, like that retaining wall. So I'll take you with me for a little bit. If our GoPro battery dies or our microphone battery dies, and it is what it is. But at least you get a little bit of. See, here's another clearing. Not sure what these were here for, just spots where there's no woods. Could have been farmland at some point that overgrew. I mean, there's definitely some planted trees in here, you know, stuff that someone planted some time ago, I suppose. Usually this type of temporary fencing you see here, DNR puts that up kind of like a, it's kind of like them saying, don't go over there. They don't fence the whole thing off because then it messes with the deer and the rabbit and, you know, the wild game trails. But at trailheads and, you know, when they don't want you in an area, they'll put these up. You know, they just don't want people wandering around in there. I guess they're trying to reforest it or whatever. Still climbing uphill. Not sure how much more uphill we got. I still got some left in the tank, but I'm not sure from here off the top of my head. I know it's not far. Those clearings were not far from the end of the trail, if my memory serves correctly. So we should be, you know, getting there pretty soon. So I'll give you a little bit of trail footage and then I'll shut you down. And this time we will check back in when we get to the truck. Welcome back, welcome back. We are back to the truck. I haven't checked the stats yet. Definitely parched. Wasn't too bad coming up the hill. A little bit there I was winded, but for the most part, you know, it was to be expected, and it wasn't hateful. I'm not dying, and I didn't fall out. All right, final stats: 2.5 mile an hour, 3.32 miles, and I didn't stop it, but it was about an hour and 29 minutes, hour and 25 minutes, as I've been here a couple of minutes. So I forgot to stop the tracker. It has a the All Trails app has a tracker, which you know, tracks my trail hiking. You know, it tracks my speed. Yeah. So right now, 3.32 miles, 315 feet in elevation. Trail, we'll give it 5 stars. We don't want to do that yet. All right, I'll get back to this later because it's going to ask me to post pictures and give a review of the trail, yada, yada, yada. I don't have time for that right now. I'm hot, I'm sweaty, I'm thirsty. And that's the end of my hike. So I hope you guys had a good time. I know I enjoyed it. We'll get back. We'll get this footage edited. I'm not sure. I generally don't edit a lot of my footage. The beginning and the end, you know, when I'm doing the videos, like inside at the table. Excuse me, sweat. I forgot to bring my bandana. So another reason for a good shakedown hike, because it reminds me of everything that I forget to bring when I get out there. Normally I have a bandana on a carabiner that I clip to my backpack strap. So, but I'll make sure that when I get back to the house, I get all that stuff and get myself back into hiking mode and backpacking mode. You know, got a couple of trips planned this year, so I definitely want to be you know, prepared for those. But back to editing, I don't do a lot of editing if you haven't noticed. You know, right at the beginning, you know, because I don't use the remote control to start and stop the camera, you know, I put it on the tripod, I start it, and then I walk around and sit down and, you know, get myself. But you know, once I start talking, it's pretty much off the top of my head. You know, I'm not scripted, or, you know, probably hear me say a lot, you know, because I'm gathering my thoughts. It's a bad habit. I say a lot, you know, because you know, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But for the most part, you know, I kind of think about my content and kind of know the direction that I want to go in, you know, before I sit down, and then just off the fly. You know, I don't script it. So you know, I want to be transparent and I want to be honest. I feel that if I'm scripting something, then, you know, it's not really me just talking to you. You know, it's me reading to you or memorizing something that I'm you know, relaying to you as viewers. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll get this video, you know, get it processed and ready to go. In a day or two, I'll get it uploaded. And I hope everybody has a great day, and the weekend coming up is even better. For now, we'll see you next time.